Praise the Lord. I was just live with you guys trying to make it to the VA and run some errands. And Mother Nature, as I stated previously, she dumped on Lake County. She doing what she do. Can you hear me? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Carrie, love you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me at all? Can you send me a sign? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can somebody send me something? Can you? Oh my God! I mean, what is this? Is this a Jerry's telethon? You guys scared to respond? Am I that mean and angry? I'm like, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And y'all just, yeah. I want to talk about something that is very, very prevalent and very, very pandemic concerning relationships and marriages. Now, he said for me to pick him up, and I told him I was going to swing through. Hold on. I'm at the Zion train station. Let y'all see. I'm at the Zion train station. And Deacon Herbert told me that I used to live out here, right up the street. Deacon Herbert told me he would be here, and I told him I'm swinging through. Now, if he's not here, then he know what the end result gonna be. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for him, man. Man, yeah, y'all love this. I mean, I don't bother me. I know how to drive it. I've been doing it for the last 20 some odd years, but this is Zion, Illinois. It's a train station where you get the place, going there. It's pretty heated in the morning time. They sell coffee and donuts in there for too much. Well, this ain't nothing. You should be here the year before last. I'm not trying to eat the phone. But yeah, let me pull over for a minute. Yeah, it's cold out here. It's below freezing, and this is all that Mother Nature did to us last night. I'm looking for him. Well, I guess I might sit for a minute. I might have to come back because I got something to do. It's not pressing, but time waits for no man. You know, it's something I really want to talk about. And it's almost a pandemic. The nuclear reactor is this way. I'm not going down there because they got so much security down there, and Homeland Security and NSA and everybody else down there, roadblock down through there. You can ride down there and go to the water and look on the beach. You can't even go down there now because of what has transpired with 9/11 and all this other terroristic messes going on in the world. But I'm going to talk about another terror. And I'm going to talk about why you change at the end. Why you try to change when it's over. Why you try to be nice and kind. Man, I hate these Illinois roads and streets. Why you try to be nice and kind now that it's over. You can tell that's the snowbank out here. Don't worry about it. Let y'all see the streets while I'm talking to you. You gotta know how to drive in this. You can't just get out here and play, because you be slipping and sliding and running to somebody's house, child, car, husband, wife, grandma, granddad. You gotta see. I can drive crazy all I want to, but I'm not driving this. So it's not so much as speed as it is knowing when to stop and brake, and knowing what's ice and what's oil spot and how to pull over. And like, I got this idiot behind me, I'm gonna pass by in a minivan. The most dangerous thing in the world is a soccer mom in a minivan. So I pull over. Okay, now they want to slow down and do a U-turn in the middle of the block. Make up your mind, please. Where was I? Why you change at the end, brother? Why you change at the end, sister? Why you try to change at the end, husband? Why you try to change at the end, wife? Why you try to change at the end, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, shacker, shacky? It's a shame when you on a contract job. I worked a lot of contract jobs for the government. I'm just going to say it like that. I got a contract. I had something to do or a mission. And we got it done. I worked a lot of contracts when I came out of the Army in Washington, D.C., and Arlington, Virginia, and Maryland, and Gaithersburg, and Rockville, and Oxon Hills, and Temple Hills, and Fort Washington. When I came out of the Army, I was a professionally trained soldier / killer, if I can just say it as such. And so I worked a lot of contracts for various DOD, private party. I worked various contracts for different entities, part of various factions and departments and private security firms all across Washington, D.C. in the Northern Virginia area. I perfected my craft. They would give us so many months to get such and such job done. They would give us so many weeks to get such and such job done. They would fly us in, fly us out. They would take us by private car or private transport or van, armored or not. But you always had a contract. You had to sign on the dotted line. You had waivers. It was a whole lot of fear, Carrie, and a whole lot of being alone. So as time progressed, I started realizing that I didn't want to work contracts no more. I didn't want to do what I've been getting paid to do, very cheap in the armed service, but I was making a whole lot of money doing the same thing for the Army, private contracting. But one day my conscience woke up. My addiction, my alcoholism started to sway and started to dissipate. And my conscience woke up. And I started changing at the end of what I thought was the end anyway. No matter how many times I said I'm out, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not flying here, I'm not flying there. I'm not touching this, I'm not touching that. I'm not completing this, I'm not completing that. I'm not signing any waivers. I'm not getting on any airplanes or helicopters. I'm not getting any private cars, armored or not. Because my conscience woke up. And I felt like that if I didn't get out of what I was in, that I wouldn't be alive not only today, but the next day. But Carrie, Jill, they kept coming. You good at what you do. We trained you, we taught you, we invested in you. And all I could think about was this contract I had signed with this private security firm. Out of the Northern Virginia area. I'm going to leave it like that. And when I signed it, I didn't realize how much I had gotten myself into a deep relationship of doing wrong. And so sometimes we can get into a deep relationship in the form of a relationship or marriage, and it'll be good in the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. It started out hunky-dory, but then the bottom fell out. You started realizing not only were you being mistreated, but sometimes we have to mistreat others in order to get others' attention, how they mistreating us. Sometimes we sway and stray and go this way and that way in a veiled or vain attempt to get the other party's attention. Hey, you mistreat me, so every time you mistreat me, I'll go out further and further and further. And when I used to teach in the prison system in Virginia. I used to tell the young man, you a mile out in sin, but you only got a foot of rope. So I was laying on the carpet this morning, eating dust, praying. And the Lord started talking to me how people try to change in and at the end. How they have someone that's great or good, or someone that can teach them and can bring them up a notch or two, not only just financially, but bring them up verbally and morally and spiritually. Yes, can bring them up better in their mind and heart. See, marriage is the act of covenant, but everything in life is a relationship. I love chocolate, so I got a relationship with chocolate. I'm hooked on pistachios, so I have a relationship with pistachios. I love coconut cake, so me and coconut cake have a romance. So relationship is the bedrock of all in any ship in life. So why do people try to change at the end when they have given you what they know is horrible? What they know is haphazard and halfway. Why do people try to change at the end when they know they have mistreated you and misinformed you and miseducated you and never tried to understand you, which caused misunderstanding? Why do people try to change when the jig is up? So my conscience started body slamming me about what I was doing on a contract basis, trained to do it by my own government, but it kept food on the table and it paid my mortgage and my condo rent or wherever I was living at the time, because God knows I moved like 30-some times in 5 years. So why do people try to change when they see something of value is slipping through their fingers like sands in a hourglass? Why do people try to change when they see someone else showing interest in that man or that woman or that soon-to-be ex-husband or ex-wife or boyfriend or girlfriend or fiance? Why do people try to change when they have absolutely mistreated? Brother, why you try to change when you done mistreated this good woman, this good sister, and she been planning, and she not scheming, she planning her great escape from this horrible holy matrimony. She's planning her great escape from this exhausting relationship. She's planning her great escape from this pain and travail and physical pain and mental and emotional rigmarole. She's planning her escape. Sister, why you start cleaning and cooking and laying out a red carpet for him when you see that his interest or his eyes or his mind or heart is someone else? Sister, why you try to be sweet and kind when it says little boys are made of snakes and snails and puppy dog tails? I just don't understand why people try to change in and at the end. And sometimes if you're foolish enough, you fall for that okie doke. You fall for that birthday card for the first time because you're leaving. You fall for them half-dead flowers that he picked up probably from the dumpster or the side of the road, or Piggly Wiggly half price $4.99. Yeah, you fall for that Valentine's candy that he's had in the trunk of his car for someone else, and they didn't want it, so he finally see he losing you, so he'll thaw it up and give it to you. I just wonder why people try to change in and at the end as I leave this alone. But it's an awful thing when you see somebody trying to change. I ought to give it to you like an old man. In the end, it's an awful thing to try to change in the end. It's an awful thing to try to change without the Lord. It's an awful thing to try to change when the bottom is calm. It's an awful thing in the mind and heart to try to change. Oh my God. It's a painful thing, yes it is, to have to leave someone else that you don't know if they gonna make it on. I don't need no paper. I don't need no pen. Because the Lord has heard my cry and pitied my every moan. I've been through so much in life that what I think gonna hurt me ain't gonna hurt me. And what I think won't hurt me does hurt me. As God moves around in my mind and my heart, I have discovered that there's some pain on the horizon. There's some pain that's gonna make you toss and turn. Why do people try to change at the end? I'm not saying at all. I've been through so much in my life that I know when somebody else gonna hurt because they didn't listen to what thus said the Lord. I've been through so much in my life at my own expense. I've been a crash test dummy. I've been a rhesus monkey. I've been a guinea pig. I've been a lab mouse. And it took a long time for me to learn. It took a long time for me to change. Y'all about to get away from these fake pastors and fake preachers, man. And every man and woman of God in the Bible is an ex-something. David was a murderer and an adulterer. Jacob was a con man and a trickster. Noah was a drunk. And I can go on and on. Peter was a cusser and carried a knife and cut off the ear of the high priest's assistant Malchus, and Jesus picked up his ear and put it back on in the Garden of Gethsemane. Every man in the Bible is an ex-something. I've ran with gangsters. I've ran with gang members. I've ran with drug dealers, senators, congressmen, generals, colonels. I've ran with street creatures, night stalkers, night doctors. I ran with barbers, beasts, goons, ghastly ghosts. But it wasn't until I met the Lord that I started to realize that I needed to change before the end. I took a chance with the Lord. Yes, I did. Just one good time. We done gave men and women drugs and alcohol, marriage and divorces, relationships, shacking, and everything, all kinds of chances. Why don't we give the Lord just one good shot? Why don't we change? Why do we try to change at the end? Let me pull over for a minute. You know, if we would just try to change, y'all, before the end, When I was growing up at Douglas Tabernacle in the projects, church was right behind the house. We used to jump the fence and go to Sunday school on Poplar Avenue in Huntsville, Alabama, 35801. The 1400 block of Arctic Street, we would jump the fence to go to church, to worship. You go to church to worship. You don't just go to church. Just like you go to a ball game to holler. You go to a mall to shop. So I always understood that even as a child, that I needed a relationship with the Lord, with the Most High God. High God. And as time progressed and I came out of the Army, I started signing contracts, doing all kinds of things just to get paid, man. And I toss and turn and think about the stuff I've done for the government, the stuff I've done in the streets. If I can get 4 good hours of sleep at night, I'm good. Sometimes I wonder why God take babies and left me behind. And then he get on me and say, you're not the one who has written your life. I have. And just be grateful, TD, my son, that you changed not at the end or in the end, but you be grateful, my child, my son, that you changed before you died, that you changed before you met your end. You be grateful, my child, that you didn't go back, because little did you know, had you went back to the contracts, had you went back to the streets, had you went back to the gangs or the game, I was not going to come get you again. So I'm grateful that God has blessed me to change. Y'all run from God and Jesus in Scripture. As soon as you hear God or Jesus, you take off and run, while you continue to sit and wallow and swallow your sin. Why are you changing in and at the end? Why are you changing when he done left you? Why are you changing when she done left you? Why are you changing, brother, now that she has decided she can't take your mess no more? Why are you cooking now, sister, and cleaning now that he has decided to move on? Why are you trying to come home now, brother, now that she ain't coming home no more? Why are you coming home from work now, brother, when you never came home from work any other time before? Why are you putting people up to call him or her when you know it? This is the end. Anything that has ever lived and anything that is living has the greatest opportunity to change. I'm grateful unto the Most High God, for my own ultimate change. My inner me was my enemy. And it wasn't until I decided that I was no longer going to sign contracts that had an expiration date. It wasn't until I decided that I was no longer going to sign contracts and be in covenants with people who were destined to not only to break the covenant or the contract, but to use me like a welcome mat that allowed myself to be used as. It wasn't until I decided to no longer sign contracts of man that I discovered and experienced and realized that I have a beautiful covenant and a relationship with God. And I am contagious of the Most High God. And I'm grateful that he has blessed me, regardless of what people think about me. I feel your thoughts, I feel your spirits, and I'm always going to be a black sheep and an underdog. But you know what? I have discovered it's not what you think of me that matters the most. It's what God thinks of me and what I think of myself as I leave this be. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good. He's been good. He's been good to me. God bless you. God keep you. Peace.